Hi everyone, I'm Ben Gonzalez and this is TDI. Well, it's almost back to school time, and that means reviewing your students' insurance needs, especially if they're not living at home with you. And joining me today is Misty Highnote from our Public Affairs Unit to go over a range of these topics. Hey Misty, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing all right. So I think one of the main concerns parents have is their kid getting sick or injured while they're at school. How does your health insurance work if you're away from home?
Right, and most health plans will cover urgent care. So if they do need to go see a doctor at an urgent care center, hopefully not an emergency center, but they should be covered. But the number one tip is to check with your health plan to see which centers to go to. That's really important, the network centers. And you can go on their website, you can call their phone number, and they'll tell you which urgent cares you can go to. And it'll probably be different, or it could be different than the ones they see back home. So you just want to be sure before they go.
Okay. And what about things like prescription drug refills? Is that something that you can get?
Yeah, and the cheapest option might be mail order. They have that nowadays. It'll go straight to your student's door, so that would be easy, so they don't have to leave campus. But they could also go to a pharmacy. If they want to go to the pharmacy back home, that's probably easiest, take their prescriptions with them. But if they want to change pharmacies to their college town, again, check with your health plan, because you want to make sure you're going to a pharmacy that's in their network. That's always the cheapest option.
So Misty, you mentioned the urgent cares, but I think it's important to tell your students that there's other options for care, like phone lines and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and nowadays there's a wide array of options. So the easiest probably is the virtual visits. They can do it right from their room. Most companies offer these days. So a virtual visit, if it's something pretty minor that they can do over the computer. And then again, there's the urgent care, the emergency room, but all of those, again, you want to check with your health plan to make sure that you're seeing the right clinic or doctor. Okay, sounds good.
And I think a lot of campuses also have on-campus clinics or nurse lines that students can use that may be part of your student fee, so that's good there.
Right, yeah, check with your college to see if they do have those. And then I wanted to add that if you are going off campus, make sure your student has their health plan card. So go to the website, make them a copy, get them their own. And it's also a good time to talk to your student about copays when they go see a doctor, if they go in person. You don't want them to be surprised when they ask for $25, $40 for a copay. So it's a good time too to educate them a little bit about health insurance.
That's a good thought. I think my wife carries most of our insurance cards for the family. So another thing we wanted to talk about with students, of course, is auto insurance. If they're not going to take a car initially to campus, is that a time where we might be able to call the company and drop them, maybe save a little money on the liability?
Right, you probably don't want to. If your student's going to be coming home on the weekends, coming home on holidays, driving a car, you're going to want them to have insurance. And then there's the possibility that at school they're going to be driving a friend's car. That friend's insurance should pick up if there's any accidents on their insurance, but in the case that your friend doesn't have insurance, you're going to want your student to have that. So it's a good idea to keep it, even though it sounds like a good idea.
They're not supposed to be driving, but they might be driving. And like you said, if they come home, there's a chance they'll get behind the wheel then.
Right.
So if I'm just going to keep them on the policy, is there any reason to tell my company that they're not going to be living at home anymore?
Yeah, it's always a good idea to check in with your company if there's a major life event, like someone moving out of the house, especially your student. And there might be a good reason for that. You might actually get a lower rate. Your company might switch them to a temporary driver, or because they're driving less, there might be a lower rate. And then there's also the chance that there's a discount. Maybe there's a good student discount or other discounts that you could get. So checking in with your agent will help you get those lower rates.
Okay, that sounds good. One last thing, let's talk a little bit about property insurance. There is a possibility of theft or other covered losses while they're away. Would the homeowner's insurance cover them if they're away from home?
Right, yeah, the parent's homeowner's insurance will cover them. Just like when you're traveling, the stuff that you take with you will be covered, but it's limited, so it's not going to be the total amount that you get for your home. It's going to be a percentage of that they'll cover in their dorm or their apartment.
So you might want to check what that limit is and then see how much stuff they're taking.
Right, yeah, and then another option is just to get renter's insurance, because that'll cover probably a whole lot more than your homeowners will.
What about for like storage units or apartments?
Yeah, your homeowner's insurance, again, should cover the storage unit. It might in the apartment if it's an off-campus apartment, so check in with your insurance company on that, but then that's when you might cross the line into getting renter's insurance.
You might as well just get a renter's policy, which would probably cover more than the limits on the homeowner's policy.
Right, right. And think about how much your student has. If they have computers, TVs, clothes, that adds up really fast. So you might get to that limit on your homeowners pretty quickly.
Right.
And then it might be just as good to switch over to a renter's policy. And they're, you know, pretty cheap compared to what your student has to insure. So.
Another life lesson then, talking about renter's insurance. Yes. Well, of course, we hope that your students are going to have a safe college experience. But if you do need any information about health insurance or auto insurance or maybe renter's insurance, you can always visit our website. It's tdi.texas.gov, or you can call our helpline, which is 800-252-3439. So for Misty High Note, I'm Ben Gonzalez, and this is TDI.